How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Memei, Daf 45 of Masechta Nazir. Friends, we're talking about Nazirs cutting their hair and bringing korbanos. Friends, we're going to start Daf Memei with Aleph at the Mishnah about 10 lines in. Tiglachas atayre, ho ho. No, so if you have a Nazir and his Naziris is over, right? Let's say you did a 30-day Nazir experience and it's over. Mazel tov. And now he is, bringing korbanos, getting a haircut. Keitzad oyamevi gimel behemis chatas olav v'shlamim. So he would bring 3 animals at the end of his naziris, a chatas, an ola, and a shlamim. V'shoichites ashlamim, and he slaughters the korban shlamim first. Umigaleach aleim divrei Yehuda. And then after offering the shlamim, at that point, he gets his haircut. He offers the shlamim and then he gets his haircut. That's Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. Rabbi Lazar, Mrs. Rabbi Lazar, lo ayu megalech elo ala chatos, she'achatos kodemes b'chol makom. Rabbi Lazar disagrees with Rabbi Yehuda and he says, actually, he offers first the korban chatos, and then he gets his haircut after offering the korban chatos. And he says, she'achatos kodemes b'chol makom, because whenever you have a chatos and another korban, the chatos comes first. V'im gilach al achas mishloshton yotza. But if he, if he did any one of them and then got a haircut, it's fine, it works. But everyone agrees that if he did the ola first also, everyone agrees that, at the end of the day, if he offered one korban and then got a haircut, so that would be fine. There's some sunflower people outside, just so you should know. So far, they're not being, so far they're keeping it under control, let's say. Now, if a fellow comes to the Beis Hamikdash with 3 animals, Perish, and he didn't designate, this one is my ola, this one's my chatas, this one's my shlam. Well, no big deal. So, look, the thing is that the ola, the chatas, and the shlam have different criteria, have different requirements. The chatas, I believe, is a female lamb. The ola, I believe, is a male lamb. And the shlamim is a ram, I believe. So, memele, whichever animal matches whichever one is appropriate for that korban is going to be the one that's us. So if you bring, a female lamb, a male lamb, and a ram, so even if you didn't designate them, memele, the female lamb is for the chatas, the male lamb is for the ola, and the ram is for the shlamim. Assuming that I got those right. Says the Gemara, Ton Rabbanon, sunflower people are being a shtickle sunflowery, just enough to distract me, but no more. No more than just barely a distraction, but enough to be a distraction nonetheless, and for me to involve you in the distraction, to share the distraction with you. Tanu Rabbanan, the rabbis taught in the Gemara, V'gilach hanazir pesach oil moed. The pasuk says that the nazir shaves his head, gets a haircut, pesach oil moed, by the entrance to the tent of meeting. So, if you understand that literally, it means that he shows up at the entrance to the Beis Hamikdash, and he takes out his klippos, and he shaves his head. When they shave his head, he gets a haircut. Says the Gemara, do not understand that pasuk literally. Bishlamim hakosov medaber. It doesn't literally mean that he goes opposite the Azara and starts getting a haircut. That would not be very respectful, as the Gemara is going to point out. It means it means that he gets his haircut after offering the shlamim. It means that he gets a haircut after he offers the shlamim. Shenemar, as the pasuk says in the context of shlamim, ushchatoi pesach oyel moed, that you slaughter the shlamim at the entrance to the oil moed, at the entrance to the azara. So basically, right, we compare the two psukim, right, the haircut of the Nazir with the offering of the shlamim, and we say that when the pasuk says Pesach oil moed by the Nazir, what it's really code word for is shlamim, i.e. that he gets a haircut after having offered the shlamim, but not opposite the entrance to the azar. Do you really think that that's what it means, that he gets his haircut after having offered the shlamim? Maybe it taka means literally that he stands in front of the entrance to the azara and shaves his head. You say, yeah, but that's bizoyin dike. It's not nice to take a barber's chair and start shampooing and washing your hair, and then you sit down in the chair and you're schmoozing and making small talk with the moti, and he's cutting your hair, and then your beard trim, and although I guess in this case just the hair. That's him, not in front of the azar. It's not very nice. Rabbi Yosha Omer and Utzarich says Rabbi Yosha, you don't need to logically explain that it's disrespectful. I mean, meaning or how about this? Says Rabbi Yosha, you can even we even see that this concept of being disrespectful is in the psukim. The Torah says lo salib malas hamizbechi kavachom derech bizoyin. So right, the pasuk says in the context of the mizbeach that the ramp of the mizbeach needs to be a ramp and not stairs, because if you have stairs, then you have to spread your legs wider to climb the stairs. And even though the kohen is wearing gatkis, nonetheless it would be bizayendik, and therefore we don't do it. So memele, you also wouldn't get a haircut by the entrance to the azar. Nusach acher. Now, interestingly, the Gemara has in brackets some like other nusach. It doesn't really, this isn't a very Gemara thing to do. But okay, another nusach, another version of the text, but medrash, in the medrash, the Gemara is bringing in the medrash over here. Beparshas Naso, V'gilach HaNazir, that he gets a haircut. Rabbi Yosha Omer, and says Rabbi Yosha b'shlamim hakasim. Medaber, the pasuk is talking about shlamim or eno v'chulei, or maybe it's talking about that he actually gets a haircut by the entrance to the azara. Im kachom Torah lo saleh v'chulei kavachom l'davar shlo yigaleach pesach ha'moed el b'shlamim hakasim. Medaber, okay, the same thing. We introduced Rabbi Yosha a little bit earlier in this version, but betzim the same thing. That it means a shlam because if he gets a haircut opposite the entrance to the azara, it would not be very appropriate. Rabbi Yitzchak hat gesagt, Eino tzarech hareu Omer, the pasuk says, V'lokach es sarosh nizro, v'nason al ha'esh v'gomer. Very, 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 very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. L'maisa, it's interesting. That the pasuk says, V'lokach es sarosh nizro, that after cutting the hair of the Nazir, we take the hair, v'nason al ha'esh v'gomer. You take the hair and you put it in the fire, right? Basically, I believe that there was one of the lishkas, was it called lishkas nazirim, lishkas nazir, something like that. There was a special room in the Beis Hamikdash for the nazir, and in that room is where they would cook his korbanos, and he would cook the korbanos in that room, and they would have a fire, they would have a pot, and the meat would be in the pot. And the pasuk says, that you take the hair from the nazir that was just cut, and you put it in the fire beneath the pot that's cooking his korban. Now, the thing is, if you would cut the hair opposite the azara, you would then have to collect the hair, bring it over to the room in which you're cooking the korban, and then put it under the fire once you've brought it over to the room. But the thing is, the pasuk says, right, it doesn't say anything about bringing it over to this room. It assumes that you're already in the room, and he gets the haircut, and all you have to do is then pick up the hair, put it in the fire. Right? The pasuk only mentions taking and placing, right? That the hair needs to only have to be picked up and put in the fire. To the exclusion of if we were to give him his haircut opposite the entrance to the oil moed, in which case you'd have to collect the hair, walk it over to the room where the korban is cooking, and then put it on the fire. So because the pasuk does not, right, the pasuk leaves out that extra step. Memele, he's not getting his haircut opposite the entrance to the Azar. Ikadamer, those who explain, Rabbi Yitzchak says Rabbi Yitzchak b'shlamim kosu medaber. The pasuk is talking about a shlamim, i.e., to say that he gets his haircut after having offered the shlamim. Ata'omer b'shlamim kosu medaber oinu ela pesach oil moed mamish. Wait, how do you know it's talking about that he gets his haircut after the shlamim? Maybe it means that he gets his haircut opposite the entrance to the Azor. Tamulomer v'lokach esarosh nizro, that he takes the hair, the hair of his Nazir hair, makom haya shay mevashol shamay megalech, right? That the place where he was cooking it, that is also where he would get his haircut, right? The same place where you're cooking it is where he gets the haircut, and then you just take the hair and put it directly in the fire. Abba Chonan Omer, Abba Chonan Ot Gezok, B'Shum B'Eliezer, V'gilach HaNazir Pesach Oil Moed. What he learns out from the pasuk when it says that he gets his haircut Pesach Oil Moed, Kozman she'ein Pesach Oil Moed Pasuach inu megalech, means Pesach Oil Moed. The Oil Moed needs to be open at the time that he gets his haircut. So it has nothing to do with the location where he gets his haircut. It's just saying that when he gets his haircut, it needs to be at a time that the Azara is Pesach, is Patuach, is open, i.e. during the day, not during the night when it's closed. Reb Shimon Shazuri Omer says, Reb Shimon Shazuri, V'gilach HaNazir Pesach Oil Moed V'lo Nazir. So Reb Shimon Shazuri, what he learns out from there is that Davke, the Nazir, would shave his head in the Beis HaMikdash. Seemingly, Reb Shimon Shazuri understands the pasuk literally, that the Nazir actually does get his haircut right opposite the entrance to the Azara, but only a Nazir, a male, not a Nazira, not a female Nazira, because maybe the young whippersnapper Kohanim could be aroused by seeing this woman getting a haircut opposite the Azara. So they respond to Shimon Shazuri and they say, well, but we don't seem to have an issue with a sota unbraiding her hair in the Beis Hamikdash. As the pasuk says, that you stand her before God. We're not concerned that the young whippersnapper Kohanim will be aroused by this. To which Reb Shimon Shazuri responds, Zo kocheles ufokeses, zo ena kocheles ufokeses. The difference is by a sota, she's not putting on makeup, but by a Nazira, she's wearing makeup, and the young Kohanim may be aroused by seeing a woman in makeup getting a haircut in opposite the Azar, so they say she shouldn't get a haircut opposite the Azar. Says the Mishnah, Hayonotel Sar Rosh Nizo Umishaleach Tachas Adud, that they would take the hair from the Nazir and put it under the pot in which the shlamim was cooking, right? So they would slaughter the shlamim, and then they would cook it, right? They would do zrikas adam, then they would cook the shlamim, the meat, in this pot, and they would cook the meat in a pot. And then, so it says the Mishnah, Yenotel Sar Rosh Nizro, and then they would give him a haircut, and then they would take the hair, Umshalech Tachas Adud, and they would put it in the fire beneath the pot in which the meat is cooking. And if he gets a haircut outside of the Beis Hamikdash, or outside of Jerusalem, Lo'ay Mishalech Tachas Adud, says the Tanakama, he would not put the hair under the fire when he's cooking it in the Beis Hamikdash. When do we say this? That is the haircut at the end of the experience. But if the Nazir becomes tamei at some point and then he needs to offer korbanis, and he also needs to get a haircut, you don't put that hair under the pot. Meir Omer says, Meir, Hakol Mishalchen Tachas Adud Chutz Min HaTamei Shebamdina Bilvad. Says Meir that no, in any case you would put the hair in the fire beneath the pot, whether it's at the end of the experience, whether it's if he was tamei. The only exception is if he became tamei and he got his haircut outside of the Beis Hamikdash. In that case, for somebody who's tamei who got his haircut outside of the Beis Hamikdash, so then you would not put the hair underneath the pot. Says the Gemara, Noto Sarosh Nizro. So he takes the hair from his haircut. Tanu Rabbanan Acharkach Notel Sarotev, and then so he takes the hair, and then he takes the some gravy from the pot with the meat that's cooking. V'nosin al Sarosh Nizro, and he puts the gravy on his hair that he just cut off. Umishaleach Tachas Adud Shel Shlomim, and then he puts that hair underneath the pot that's cooking the shlomim. Okay, so you have a pot, it's cooking the shlomim, and he gets a haircut, and you take some of the gravy from the pot, and you pour it on the hair, then you take the hair, and you put it in the fire beneath the pot that's cooking the shlomim. And if he had put it underneath a pot that was cooking a chatos or an asham, that also works. Asham b'nazir tahor mi'ika. Why are we talking about an asham? An asham is only when a nazir is tamei. A nazir tahor who completes this experience doesn't offer an asham. Amarava chikamer ve'im nazir tamei mishaleach tachas adud shel asham yotza. Well, if we're talking about a nazir tamei, right, who so he became tamei to masmeis, and then when he becomes tahor, he gets a haircut, and he brings a olas of, a chatas of, and a asham. So in that case, if he put the hair under the asham, it works. Minani mili. How do we know that he could put it even under the chatas or the asham? So Amarava says, Rava Amarkra, the pasuk says, Asher tachas zevach hashlom, that he puts his hair under the in the fire that is beneath the zevach hashlam. So mizivcho yehei tachtav. No, I'm sorry. So how do we know that you have to use the gravy, because it says mizivcho yehei tachtav, that from the offering should be beneath it. I.e., you take some of the gravy from the shlamim and you put it beneath the pot in with the hair that you are burning. V'mshilach tachas adud shel chatos v'osham. And if he had put the hair underneath the pot with the chatos to the asham yotza, it works. My time I'll come because the pasuk says zevach le'abos chatos v'asham. It says zevach to include also that if you put the hair under the chatos or the asham, it works. Va'afikte lai zevach meirotev. But didn't we already use zevach to teach that you use the gravy, that you include the gravy? Imkain le'mikra meirotev hashlam. If it was only to teach the gravy, it should say from the gravy of the shlam. My zevach. What does it mean, the zevach? Shmamino the rabbis chatas v'asham. It's coming to include that even if you put the hair under the chatas or asham, it's fine. Ve'ema kula lechatas v'asham mudasa. Well, let's say that the zevach is only coming to teach us the chatas and asham. It doesn't teach us anything about gravy. Imkain lema shlamim v'zevach. Well, then it should say the shlamim and the zevach, and then I would know that it means the shlamim or the chatas or the asham. My zevach hashlamim shmamina taite. But it doesn't say shlamim v'zevach. It says zevach hashlamim to teach us both things. To teach us that you use the gravy, and to teach us that if you put it under the chatos or the asham, it also works. Taner Rabbanim, Hayu mishalchin tachas adud. You would put the hair under the pot in all instances. Chutz mitame shegilach b'medina, except for a tamei nazir who got his haircut outside of the Beis Hamikdash. Mipnei shesayu nikbar, because in that case his hair would be buried. Divrei Meir, that's Reb Meir's opinion. Reb Yehuda, Mrs. Reb Yehuda, tahorim kan v'kan mishalchin tahorim. in any case, would put the hair under the pot. But if you're tamei, regardless of if you're in the Beis Hamikdash or not, you would not put the hair under the pot. The Chacham say so as the Chacham say, the only instance in which they would put the hair underneath the pot would be if it's a Nazir at the end of his experience and he's in the Beis Hamikdash. Otherwise, not. Friends, that was Daf Memei of Masechta Nazir. I hope you enjoyed. Peace out.